Herzlich willkommen zurück auf die Tabellenführer. First place, it's a victory Monday. I'm all alone, but that's all right because we won 2-0. Two goals means two podcasts this week. I'm going solo tonight. Schedule conflicts. Wasn't able to go. What is going on my screen here? I got got games going on in the back of my screen here. But yeah, regardless, we won 2-0, so we'll do a podcast tonight. Conflict of schedule with Jack. So we will actually have another podcast on Wednesday. Why not? 2 goals in the game. We're going to have 2 podcasts this week. So we're going to have lots of Schalke America coming on this week. We're going to have a Victory Monday times 2 on a Monday and a Wednesday. So how you like them apples? But yeah, we're going to split the podcast up a little bit this week. Going to get really in-depth into the game on Wednesday. Today we're going to kind of go 10,000 foot view, talk about 4 talking points. Anthony, ICU, Glück auf. Happy Victory Monday for Schalke and Milan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael, good to see you. One more win, and we are Herbstmeister. Absolutely. Absolutely. Getting closer to the Christmas break as well. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the holiday season. I know us Schalke fans are because this is uncharted territory for us over the last 5 to 7 years, maybe more, probably 10 years. So this is a nice welcome change. Asynchronous in the house. Glück auf. I see you, my friend. So tonight, we're not going to get in depth into the game, but we did win. So let's break that in here real quick. Boom, there it is, 2-0. Captain Karaman with the goal in the 45th minute. They get a red card, and we score. What the hell? Vitalie Becker scores the goal. First goal for the club. Karaman scores 100th appearance for the club. What a game. Like I said, today we're going to talk about our 4 talking points in this game. We're going to talk about the defensive masterclass that was the game. Muslic fixes the crisis of the 10-man voodoo, I guess, if you want to call it. Captain's penalty. Kenan Karaman stepping up in his 100th appearance. And then obviously a promotion message sent to the rest of the league. It's going to be fun to talk about this one tonight. And then, like I said, Jack will be back on Wednesday. Have another Victory Monday podcast on a Wednesday this time. And we're going to deep dive into the game, go really, minute by minute and really talk more about the game. So today, more talk about the talking points that came from this weekend and then transition to Wednesday where we're going to talk more about the entire game minute by minute. Joseph, good to see you, my friend. Glück auf. So, like I said, without further ado, let's get into the talking points. First of all, how was everyone's weekend? Hopefully everyone's doing well. You gentlemen all in here to chat. Love seeing you guys here. Obviously, we won the game. Fantastic result. Went down early. Well, it looked like we were going to go down early, but Kenan Karaman, great penalty. Foolish defensive play by Düsseldorf. Legit penalty. Karaman steps up, cool as ice, puts it away. They get a red card, but we still somehow play much better than we did against Münster with 10 men. And then Vitalie Becker, a great run from the left wing side. Nice feed by Gomes. The fantastic footwork by Becker and then slots it away like an attacker. Wow, 2-0 win. And then other results on the weekend. Elversberg beat Paderborn, so now Elversberg jump into second in the table. We are still in first, obviously. Elversberg now are in second, and we got a 4-point gap, ladies and gentlemen. 4-point gap between first and second place. Paderborn dropped down to 4th place by goal differential. Darmstadt, tied on points, have moved up to 3rd place. And then look, Hanover, 1 point behind them at 28. Kaiserslautern and Hertha, they're at 26. So top 7, very, very tight. It'd be nice if we extend that lead even more heading into the winter break, but let's, we'll get there. Joseph said Becker's goal was so freaking good. It was. It didn't look like a winger or a defender. It looked like an attacker there with his goal there. So wonderful stuff there by Becker. Happy for him. And what does he do? He scores a goal and runs into Meyer Musch's arms because that's the guy who gave him his first start, right? So or gave him the confidence to start the season. So good stuff there. But let's get into this here. Want to deep dive into these topic points. Please feel free to chime in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. We're going to kick things off. We're going to talk about the defensive masterclass and the clean sheet that was against Düsseldorf. This was obviously the biggest indicator of progress for our team. After earlier defensive struggles, we delivered a rock-solid performance on the road with 22,000 away fans. My goodness, 22,000 away fans in a 51,000-seat stadium. That's nearly 50% of the stadium filled by our fans. That's unreal. Where else do you see this in the world? You don't. You don't. It's unreal performance there by the away fans there and by the team. Let's start things off with the wall that was in front of Karius. We're going to talk about the back line. I thought the work that the back line did. Kurachai, Katic. I said this right this time. I know last podcast I kept saying Matic. Stuck in my head, but it's Katic. And Ihan back there, obviously with the wing-back play of Vitalie Becker, and then an even younger Valentevich over there. The back line in general was a wall in front of Karius. I personally want to highlight the defensive performances by Nikola Katic and Vitalie Becker in this game. Rock solid performance by both these gentlemen. Michael says, watch Hertha lose to last place Magdeburg, feeling bullish about promotion. Yeah, for sure. The way fan contingent is always world-class with Schalke, never gets old. It doesn't. I wonder what the record is for a away fan crowd, because it's probably Schalke, right? But looking at the wall that was the back line in front of Karius, I thought they did a fantastic job. I think where last week we saw Paderborn had created a lot of opportunities against us, right? They were able to exploit the wing back play, the direct play. We kind of corrected those mistakes in this one against Düsseldorf. Granted, Düsseldorf is way down on the table. They were 15th and then going to the game. They still are 15th. They're not world beaters by any stretch. Paderborn is far superior to Düsseldorf, no doubt about it. But we're in the Westphalia derby. This is a local derby for us. It's a big game. Anything can happen in these games, and I thought the way Schalke defended in this one was fantastic. I thought Katic really marshaled that back line really, really well. Kurachai was all over the place. He was a little bit more feistier than normal, I thought, but he did a really great job. Ihan looks solid back there. He's getting more and more confident with each and every game, but I thought this game we really saw usually it's Kurachai who's kind of leading the way defensively because he seems to do it all, both defensively and even contributes to the offensive side. Katic has been growing more and more confident. We've seen his now patented and traditional dives after the wins. He goes and dives on the field. We even saw Valentevich joining in with him in this. I love seeing this. This is like third or fourth game now in a row that we've seen from Katic after a win where he goes and dives into the field. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt in this. He's young. I couldn't do that. I'd probably never get back up if I did that myself. Michael says, my usual comment still resonates. Offense entertains, defense wins matches. Yeah. I think original quote by that was Jose Mourinho, right? Defense does win championships. Defense wins championships. Yes, the offense was not like entertaining, but we won. We won, and we got another shutout. We have now 11 wins on the season. That's more than we did all last year. That's more victory Mondays than we had all last year. And we have 8 clean sheets now. It's unbelievable what this team is doing. Karius has done really well, but I think the defense is what really has stepped up. And like I said, Katic, I thought the way he marshaled the line. Yes, we're playing a high aggressive defensive line, but keeping the guys straight. Not when Ihan pushes up, having Valentevich push back or Becker if it's the other way around with Kurachai. Kept them really in good shape. For the most part, they didn't let much get past them. It was like a bend but don't break mentality. And the odd time that Düsseldorf got by, Karius was there. Now, Karius really didn't have much to do in this game. I think the defense, they only allowed one shot on target. Yeah, Düsseldorf had probably, 13, 14 shots in the game. None of them on target. On goal, it was just one. And that's a lot of credit to the back line there, the immense work that they did. I thought it was fantastic from them. In the wing play in particular, we've been looking for balanced wing play attack. Obviously, Vitalie Becker has been the standout this season, marauding up and down the left flank. We've really not really had consistency from the right flank. We've had good performances, don't get me wrong. Adrian Gantenbeim has had some obviously fantastic hustling within him, and he has had some games that have really been really good. Same thing with Porat as well. Porat has had some decent games as well, but consistency-wise, it hasn't been, consistent one week after the other. Unlike the left wing side, Eric, I see you, my friend. Glück auf. It hasn't been consistent. until Valentevitz got pushed back. He was playing when he first came in. He was playing that kind of like right attacker slot that we saw Antwi Ajay in this game position himself with. But Valentevitz got pushed back. The last game it was officially in the right wing play. Worked really, really well. Didn't seem to tire out. Provided both offensive and defensive help. And then in this game again, same thing. Constant support, can cross the ball. Now it's fantastic that we have Antwi Ajay, old Jimmy, with his throw-ins, right? But now we have Valentevitz who does the same thing. So really, you can kind of not stretch Jimmy so thin because he's still going to do his free kicks and stuff like that. But you can put Jimmy on one side, you can put Valentevitz on the other side, and both those gentlemen can throw the ball pretty deep. So good, having Valentevitz in there is just balance that wing play so much more. They can figure out how to better work with the midfield and then into the attack. This defense is going to be even more dangerous. Right now, they're not letting any goals. They have the best defense in the league by 4 goals. Hertha is the closest to us. They gave up 12 goals so far this year. We've scored 8. We've given up 8, excuse me. We've given up 8. So best defense in the league. Do we have the best goal differential? No, but Elversberg has probably the best attack in the league. Joseph says, Düsseldorf skied some decent chances. Was kind of funny to see. Yes, they did. And I like saying defense wins championships. It does. It absolutely does. And I'm not saying we're going to win a championship this year, but defense playing defense like this will get us promoted. And I just want that automatic promotion. If we win the league this year, cherry on top, right? But the goal is automatic promotion, not playoff, automatic promotion. I don't want to mess with that playoff crap. But nonetheless, the defensive work in this game was unreal, really well done, and a good amount of the credit. We talked about Katic and Becker really being standouts on that defensive line in this game. I think majority of the credit has to go to Myron Muslic. It really does. The structure to allow only one shot on target all game long. His structure and intensity proved that the high press and tackling stats are translating to results against strong opponents. And I'm not just saying to teams at the top of the table. For many years, we've struggled against teams on the bottom as well. And so this system that Myron Muslic has implemented is working well against all these, right? It's this kind of game validates his system. The ability to, and we'll get to some other talking points later, so I don't want to skeeve over this, but Muslic has adapted quite well when his team has come up against some challenges where it's not to his liking, especially defensively, but we've even seen some tweaks offensively. Myron Muslic is quickly able to adapt over as recent as the next game and make those changes. We saw in the Paderborn game, granted they're a better attack, but they really explored the wing play in that game. This game, not so much. The direct play, I thought Düsseldorf did really well to have that as their focal point and really try to go over the top and try to beat that back line. And at times it did get over the top, but the defense, the way they were structured, got back quickly. Numbers defensively didn't allow anything, like again, one shot on goal. And that's all to the structure of what we saw from Myron Muslic in this one. So yeah, I thought this was a really, really well played game by them defensively. And again, I understand this is not a top of the table game here against Düsseldorf. It's a lowly team. The point that matters to me is the 3 points. We get 3 points where this time last year or even the years before, we wouldn't have got 3 points. In a game where typically a game that favors us, we score early and then able to get the other team out of their comfort zone. We didn't score early. It took us a while. It took us a while really to get our mojo going. It was really very cagey to start this game, and it wasn't until a really stupid foul by the defender that kind of opened the gates for us. But overall, I think what we saw defensively from us, I don't care who we play, that's the kind of defense we need to play. And we saw where the pressing also leads to turnovers by the opposition, and so that's excellent to have. That's getting better. Myron Muslic has adapted that game by game. But the defense, as good as they've been, they've still tweaked things here and there. They find the weak points that they have in different games and try to tweak things a little bit here and there. Not trying to do overhaul. And so I think the next logical adaptation for Mayer Muslic now is to figure out how to better defend against the direct over the top play when you do play some of these better teams, better attacks in this league. Because someone eventually, if you make a mistake, they will punish you, and so we can learn from those mistakes. I think is super important for us. Yeah, I think a common thing that we see from this Mayer Muslic team too is hard nosed tackling, grinding it out, really trying to do everything they can, get yellow cards, and once they get yellow cards, as Asynchronous says, you replace the guys who have yellow cards and bring in fresh legs. And I think that's been working very well. You got to be careful with that because it's a fine line there, but I think the defenders, for the most part, have done really, really well. A couple times this season already that Ihan's been playing, he's gotten early yellow cards, and he's composed himself enough where he didn't get that second yellow card. That can be costly in the game. If you get an early yellow and get a second yellow and turn into a red like Oberhof did in this game for Düsseldorf, it could put your team in a pinch. We saw what happened to Düsseldorf when they went down to 10 men. So we have not traditionally played well when we had 10 men. So we got to be very careful with that. It's a very fine line. So excellent point there by Asynchronous. But overall, defense has been really, really great in this one. I'm happy to see. It's just I'm still in shock the defense that we're playing now compared to last year. I mean, did we play defense at all with Karl Gerards? I love Gerards and all, but I don't think we played defense one bit whatsoever against him. It was a shootout every time we played. So this brings to the next talking point. And it was the big change from the Münster game to this game. That's playing with 10 men. The learning curve of having the man advantage. When we played against Münster a couple weeks ago, when any team goes up a man because of a red card the opposition gets, you expect your team to start dictating play, controlling the play, creating more opportunity, and eventually scoring a goal or several goals, as some teams can do. And that's the expectation, I think, for any soccer fan, any football fan. But what do we see in that Münster game? Münster really kept attacking us when they went down to 10 men. We couldn't do anything offensively. We couldn't create any shots. And it looked like we were the ones who went down to 10 men, and Münster had the man advantage. And so we struggled mightily in that game. The result wasn't how we would want. But we talk about the adaptation to Mayer Muslic, and he learned quickly from that with his team and adapted this time against Düsseldorf. And what they did was much, much better. Obviously, it helps to go up 1-0 just right at halftime. But you're coming out of the gates. Oberdorf makes a stupid play. High cleats to Jimmy Atuaje. Deserved second yellow, red card. So he's out. And what are we going to do with it? I thought we did very well to create opportunities with the man advantage, as you should, but it's hard for us to do that. Yeah, I saw that asynchronous. Karl Gerards is doing well right now in France. But, yeah, I think we learned from our mistakes against Münster. The structure was much better. We were able to transition from defense to attack much, much better. And that culminated with the goal by Vitalie Becker. I mean, this is what you want to see is you're up a man. Why not have your defender make a run? You see the left winger make this run. Vitalie Becker makes his run off of a throw-in, a Valentevis throw-in. Nice little throw-in. Brian Lastman with a flick off to Gomes. Gomes, who just come on, finds a pass to Becker. It was kind of in his feet, but Becker did marvelous with his feet. We talk about the great footwork that Karaman had last week. Becker had some good footwork here for a defender to get past the defender who's defending him, I should say. Gets in, sets himself up for the shot, and gets the ball in. But that's what you want to see. You have a man up, use it, and we did in that situation where the defender makes the run, leading the line, so to speak, and gets the goal for his efforts. And what a celebration by him! What a great goal! So what we learned from that, honestly, is the mental fortitude. A lot what we talked about last week too. Oberdorf gets his red card, and then Schalke showed their mental stability not to overthink the situation like they did against Münster, right? They maintained their structure, and then when the time came, they were clinical with Vitalie Becker scoring in the 81st minute. So they clearly have learned from the past with, that they can handle pressure when they have the numerical advantage. And you wouldn't think it would be that kind of pressure, but for us, it has been. It has been over the years. We just, for whatever it is, we just struggle when the opposition goes down to 10 men. and I don't want to hopefully see any situations where we go down to 10 men, because that could be a tricky boat as well. But overall, I thought it was a quick and decisive learning curve. Now we need to adapt this going forward when we play some of the big teams, right? Have to be able to adapt and punish them. But for this, I love the quick learning curve for us. Really happy to see that happen there. As Michael says, last month's pace makes a huge difference. Absolutely, absolutely. And this was the key, I think, too. Learning to play with possession after playing a man up. That's what we didn't do against Münster. Münster, we didn't know how to possess the ball. We kept like hoofing the ball up, it seemed like. In this game, it was a more controlled kind of passing game, dictating what we wanted Düsseldorf to do, and it ultimately culminated in the goal. So kudos to Meyer Muslic and his team for doing all that. Now we got to talk about Kenan Karaman. Makes his 100th appearance for the Royal Blues. The captain didn't have a full game, did he? He only played 45 minutes. However, it was a very distinct, very captain-like performance from him in the 45 minutes that he played. Obviously, gets a penalty opportunity late in the first half. Ball goes into the box. I think it was Valentevich, or maybe it's Karaman who got the header. Cleared off the line. Great save. I don't know who. I think it was the defender or maybe the goalie he's made the save. Katic going in for the header. Defender kicks him right in the face. Clear penalty. Stonewall penalty. Karaman picks it up. All the pressure in the world. Game is tied 0-0. You're the captain. It's your 100th appearance. You have the defenders chirping in your face. It's a lot of pressure. Cool as ice. Puts it away. 1-0. Gives us the lead going into halftime. Did everything we asked of him in just 45 minutes. He's consistently reliable, especially the last 2 years, 3 years that we've had him. It just, over the last couple of years prior to this year, it was pretty much all Kenan Karaman. He really had no help. This year, he's got a little bit more help. Yes, Silla had a bunch of goals early in the season last year, first half. But second half, it really was nothing else. And so we relied on Karaman to kind of save us in the second half of the season. And then this year, he's got other people around him starting to score some goals now, which is nice. He's still the league leader or team leader in terms of goals. He got 6 goals now, I think, on the season, which is kind of crazy that our 2 leading scorers are Silla and Karaman combined 10 goals, the 2 leading goal scorers in the league. Lidberg and the guy from Elfersberg each have 11. So we're not scoring many goals, but it doesn't matter. If you're not giving up any, you don't have to score many. But Kenan Karaman's been consistent in his leadership, whether it's his rah-rah speeches before and after and during games, whether it's his clutch goals, whether his Messi-like moves that he makes during games. We rely on him so heavily, and he's come through so many times, and getting that 100th goal was important. I don't know if he got injured or they're being safe. I think maybe he probably picked up a little injury and they want to be cautious and get him out of there. He's our probably most important player, at least, if nothing else, with his leadership, and get him out of there and bring in Lasma really early. So I haven't seen anything yet that says that he's otherwise. So I'm just taking it they're being very precautious and resting him. He much needed rest. He came off through a big injury in the off season, and so you wanna save his legs we need him all season long. So, but his work rate, his output, it's irreplaceable emotional leader right now, and he doesn't need to play a full game. He's becoming absolutely irreplaceable. But he keeps this up. Who knows? We may be talking about one of the better captains we've had. Certainly, in the 2000s. Obviously, there's lots of good ones, right? Hovides probably takes the cake in the 2000s, but Karaman, man, he's just writing himself a name for himself with this club, which is amazing to see. And he did it against his former team too, Düsseldorf. He was with Düsseldorf many years ago. So, yeah, a secretary says, I don't understand why Düsseldorf really didn't attack over the left-hand side. And I'm wondering, I was curious about that too, but I'm wondering if it's something that we did defensively, and I got to go back and rewatch the tapes. I'll do this before the next podcast on Wednesday, but I wonder if it's something that we, the way we were setting up defensively, kind of forced them to the other side, and really maybe that's how we're doing so well defensively to clean up some of the weaknesses that we have. Is that we're overloading one side and forcing them to go the other way, and really then we really can dictate how to defend them. So I'm curious on that. Maybe I'll have an answer by Wednesday. But nonetheless, Karaman, fantastic performance. I mean, he can't say much more about him. Every week he's doing something for us. So let's knock on wood. Hopefully he isn't injured and it's just a precaution to take him out there. But excited that he got us in the lead, and we didn't need him for the whole 90. But that first goal was massive for us. Massive for us. And then final talking point. We're still on top. And we kind of sent the league a message that Schalke is here this season. We're not messing around this year. We are going to be a force to be reckoned with defensively, and to just being on top of the league. Teams are going to have to go through us to get to the top spot. We built ourselves a nice 4-point gap now, which is really, really great. The teams underneath are beating each other up, and we're just consistently getting the victories. It's fantastic. I can't wrap my head around all this stuff. I think teams are just these wins are reinforcing the genuine nature of a promotion push. We have to talk about it. It's not jinxing them at any stretch. It's just calling a spade a spade. This team is good. This team is consistent right now. And so we're getting the results. We're top of the table by 4 points. We are going to be in discussion this year. I'm not saying we're the favorites. I'm not saying we're going to run away with the league, though I'd love to win the league by 10 points. We're going to be in discussion, and that's what we want. That's all we ever want, is to be in the discussion for promotion. Last year, we were in the damn relegation fighting for our lives, having the worst season of our lives and of career, and it's nice to be on the other end of the table now. And that's all we've been talking about for the last 10 years is we just want to be in games where we can have a chance. That's all we ask for. We're not. I remember many people saying last year, like, hell, we're not even looking for promotion. Just challenge people. Make it difficult. Make it look like a game that at least the fans would be proud of something. And we didn't have that last year. And this year we are seeing that, all the crunching tackles, Katic after every tackle, pumping up the crowd. Crowd loving when Vitalie Becker goes in and gets tackles, and Fauzi running his ass off everywhere. This is what we want to see, and it's been great to do. And the other thing is too is, to get to the promised land, you kind of have to shake off some of that bad luck, the juju, right? And we did in this game, right? We ended the voodoo that Düsseldorf had on us. Well, I think there was like 5 games in a row where we couldn't get a win against Düsseldorf. If memory serves correct, and if I'm wrong, please let me know in the chat. But we finally ended that run away from home, and we sent a message to the league and said, we're clinical, we're mentally tough, and we're ready to contend for the league this year. And if you're gonna score a goal, it better be a beautiful ass goal to tear us apart, because structure-wise, it's getting better and better, and we're not at our peak yet defensively. Certainly not offensively. I hope not offensively. But I think we can do better in all aspects of the game. Karius too, because hasn't been called upon much in this season. So I think shaking off some of those old cobwebs are important to get the results. You got to get to the next. You have to shake the bad from the past to move forward. And we're trying to shake the debt that we had. We're trying to shake some of these big games we've had against some of these bigger clubs in this league, some of our rivals. And we're doing it slowly. It's got to be consistent though. And man, I think second week in a row being in first place, extending our lead from last week. 2 winnable games here coming up. I want to see us end this. Obviously, one more win will be Herbstmeisters, but I want to end this first half of the season on a good form. And we got Nuremberg, our friends, coming up. Very winnable game. They're at the bottom of the table. As is Eintracht Braunschweig, though Braunschweig had a pretty impressive result this weekend, I think. Unless I'm confusing with my football manager, which I was trying to play tonight, but it's not going to happen. But we'll see. Michael asks, are we going to have any winter signings? That's a good question. Obviously, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but with the Bosnian connection, Obviously, you've seen Katic, being very friendly with Edin Dzeko. That's a name that many people are like, hey, we're going to get Edin Dzeko or a striker of that ilk. Would be nice. I don't know if that's going to be what solves it. I think the combination of, like, I think A. Singer says is that wing play and service, I think, is the most important thing for us. If we can find a number 10 type player who can really complement Schallenberg and El Fauzi in there and play alongside Kenan Karaman, I think we have a good chance. I think we have some players up top that could do well for us, right? Obviously, Silla wants that service. You got Remmert, who started out the season very well before he got injured. Brian Lasma is very, very capable. He got tremendous pace. So I think we have options in the attack. Now, granted, I'm not going to turn down an Edin Dzeko. I'm not going to turn down Edin Dzeko now. The guy can score goals. I followed him his entire career, but a striker would be interesting. I prefer number 10, but I don't know how you could get it with the funds that we have. Defensively, we have some kind of depth, right? Obviously, I don't know when Timo's going to come back, but obviously Ayhan's doing his job now. Paperl came in place of Schallenberg. That was great to see. I didn't even mention him. We'll talk about him on Wednesday for sure, but he came in. He looked confident on the ball. Very good on set pieces. He was involved in the majority of the set pieces. Didn't take them all, but he was involved in many of them. So it tells me he's got a good foot to curve the ball in. But depth-wise, I think defensively we're okay. Kalish is still, we haven't seen him. I don't know if we will, but if we push comes to shove, maybe that's an option. Obviously, Go Tristiani is around. Henny Matriciani. Who else we got there? Obviously, some of the Kanapashmita products we have there. Obviously, right wing. Somehow, right now, right wing, we have depth between Valentevis, Gantenbein, and Porat. Left wing, obviously, Porat can play both sides. Matriciani can play both sides there. So there's a little bit of depth there defensively. So maybe some depth players. I don't want to necessarily see any somebody kind of change that. But, I mean, to Michael's point, if Ayhan, who a lot of rumors have been Ayhan and El Fauzi, I don't think El Fauzi is going to leave anywhere. We're certainly not to Dortmund. But, El Fauzi is drawing a lot of interest, as is Ayhan. And, hey, $8 million could be enticing for a team that's still millions of dollars in debt. Hopefully not, because I think the ceiling is high with Ayhan. But if he leaves, while we have some little bit of depth, we may have to find a quick replacement for that. Especially when we don't know how the timetable for Timo's return. So that could be something we have to be like kind of wait and see. If anything happens for us where we have to sell somebody, maybe it's Silla, maybe it's a Ayhan. Hopefully it happens quickly in the market so we have time. The one thing I don't want to see is, on the 12th hour of the last day, they make a move to sell somebody and we don't have time to get anybody in. Sure, we'll give some youngsters some opportunities and stuff like that to help out. But, I mean, I guess we still have Felipe Sanchez back there. And I know Myron Muslic has been somewhat comforted by him, having him back there. He's played better under Muslic than he did previously, right? So that's also an option. Korachai can play both wings. So Korachai could move to the right and Sanchez to the left if you had to, but I really rather any moves happen early in the window and we take our time and find a serviceable replacement, and I'm confident Baumann can do that. I think Baumann's done really well with people he's brought in thus far. So we'll see. We'll see. Weak spot was Ramon, no dribbles. Actually, yeah. I was reading the comments here. Alessandro, good to see you, my friend. So it's a really good sign that we were able to win games with 4 players from the Knabisch in the first 11. Yeah, that was really nice to see. And I it's something we heard a lot about from Baumann, even Manga really too. But developing through our youth system, and we're doing that. We're seeing that with their appearances in the start 11, whether it's coming off the bench or starting. In this game, we had as we said 4 starters. It was really cool to see. Hopefully that continues to build in key spots, and we still have that goose egg, that's the golden goose that's out there wandering, recovering, and Musa Chabara. Once he gets healthy, that could be our option in the attack. But again, to get goals, you need service. And consistent wing play between Becker and Valentevis or whoever's on the wings, and getting a good mix with the midfield and the attack. The service needs to be there. So I don't care who you have. You could have freaking Erling Haaland. If you don't get the service, he ain't gonna score the goal. So we gotta find a way to get the service to our strikers. So yeah, those are 4 talking points of this game. Like I said, we're gonna get into the podcast here on Wednesday. This Wednesday, 2 days from now. So 2 goals from this game. We're gonna have 2 podcasts this week. So stay tuned for that. My original plan was, hey, Sinkner, enjoying your lunch, sir. Good to have you, my friend. The original plan was to play some FM26 tonight, but my thing is acting up, so... is it working now? Let me see if it's working. It's not working yet. So maybe what I may do... No, I'm just going to end it here. I'll end it here. We'll do this on Wednesday night. Maybe I'll do a little FM26 then. But the computer didn't want to work with me tonight, so hey, whatever you want. Still got 35 minutes in. That's good enough for me. So if anybody got anything last-minute questions here, put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to make our way out of here and then come back here on Wednesday and do it all over again with Jack this time to break down the game minute by minute. Oh, yeah. Who's our next game? Our next game is against Nuremberg. What time is this game at here? Pull up the schedule here. All right, let's see here. The game is not Friday for once. It's a Sunday game. This Sunday coming up at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So should be exciting there. And one more time at the table, Nuremberg are 11th place. I thought they were much lower than that. They're 11th place. My bad, Nuremberg. Our friends are mid-table right now. So they're going to be a much more difficult challenge for sure. But they've given up a lot of goals. 21 goals against, only 17-4. So we'll see. Get early goal. Again, that's always the key for us. If we can get an early goal, that'll be important for us. Absolutely there. So, all right. I'll get out of here on that note, and we'll look to do a little bit more. We're going to have, obviously, the podcast, talk the game on Wednesday, and then maybe if I feel giddy, I'll play some FM26. I need to get back on that. The holidays really kicked my butt on that. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast number 1. Podcast number 2 is coming up in 2 days on Wednesday, same time. So, all right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your Victory Monday. Get ready to do it all over again on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of the next 2 days until we talk again. Glück out.